Alright, Geordie Prepper here. Welcome to a Prepper Network news video on Friday the 8th of March 2024. Firstly, we're looking at quite a concerning development. British and US residents have been warned against travel to Russia due to a terror threat. British and US embassies issued the warnings to residents that are already living in Russia, specifically Moscow. Citizens should be aware of extremists carrying out attacks in Moscow, and they've urged everyone to take precautions and to avoid large gatherings, including concerts. While the details and the nature of the threat are undisclosed, the advisory has emphasised the need for heightened vigilance and awareness of surroundings. This is something that preppers practice probably more than the average citizen, but if you do go out, just get into the routine of doing so when you leave your home, that you practice things that help you in your surroundings. So don't have headphones in, playing loud music. Make sure you practice different routes going to and from your home. Look behind you often. Change your directions. Change sides of a street, etc. Just a few examples of being aware of your surroundings. Looking around you, making sure that you can hear your environment, and these are all things that I practice. The British Embassy echoed a US warning and advised British nationals against all travel to Russia. Nature of the threat has been very vague. These travel advisories highlight that when you're abroad, the importance of always having a way of checking that you are aware of any official alerts and guidance that might be issued abroad. Travel advisories before and during your visit are important to check, and just remain alert while traveling, whether for business or pleasure. The threat could be an indication of several things, but I think the most likely is that possibly combat's going to occur in the Suwalki Gap, an increase in Ukraine attacks on Moscow itself. Perhaps there's going to be a wave of drone attacks or even missiles which can reach the capital. Possibly even an attempt to decapitate the Kremlin leadership. It's possible, there's several people have mentioned this in military circles that, there is plans to do a decapitation strike, and if they can do it right and if they can hit the right targets in the right sequence. But the advisory is still a very serious threat and indications something might happen, so be very vigilant over the weekend. And the fact that they've left it very unspecified is concerning, and also that they've only alerted the citizens themselves, and they haven't said, or don't appear to have went to Russia itself and said, look, we've got this intelligence, you might want to look into this and that. Next, we're looking at the Ukraine, and there's been a development as Zaluzhny, which was the former head of the armed forces in the Ukraine. He's been appointed as the Ukraine's ambassador to Britain now. So Zaluzhny's coming to Britain. Zelensky announced the appointment as Ukraine's ambassador to the United Kingdom about a month after dismissing him as the head of the armed forces. So Britain obviously plays a crucial role in supporting the Ukraine and if its conflict with Russia. So the position of ambassador to Britain is one of the Ukraine's most important diplomatic positions. So they obviously needed somebody in there who was liked by basically both sides. Zaluzhny was sacked as the military commander-in-chief about a month ago, but he's widely respected among the Ukrainian troops and considered a national hero, basically. Reportedly some tensions between Zaluzhny and Zelensky, and predominantly it arose from Zelensky's frustrations over the 2023 counteroffensive failed to achieve the significant territorial gains that he was looking for. So Zaluzhny has basically shifted to a diplomatic role now, which is a new direction. Ukraine is claiming to down a lot of drones overnight. The Russian forces launched a total of 37 Shahed drones from Crimea into the Ukraine, and the Ukrainians are claiming that they shot down 33 of the 37. So really, this is quite a significant amount of drones that were sent, and it's a big claim that they've destroyed 33 of them. But despite the interception success rate that they claim, the drones did hit some of the targets, and there was quite a lot of casualties inflicted and damage in several Ukrainian cities. 7 people, including a child and teenager, were injured, and significant property damage was caused. The governors of the affected regions, such as Kharkiv, Kherson, and Odessa, which is where Zelensky was recently, provided updates on the attacks, casualties, and damage incurred. and the severity of the aerial attacks from Russia is basically increasing significantly. Civilians obviously caught in the crossfire. They're claiming the successful interception of the drones by the Ukrainian forces, demonstrating that they still have the capability to defend against Russian aerial attacks, even despite massive ammunition shortages and a lack of air defense. Britain's looking like it's going to supply a lot of drones to Ukraine. They've pledged to supply up to 10,000. Defense Minister Grant Shapps has revealed plans to supply more than 10,000 drones to the Ukraine in 2024 as part of a $325 million investment to bolster Ukraine's defense. The investment will deliver various types of drones, including first-person view drones, one-way attack drones, and surveillance drones, maritime drones. Britain emphasized its commitment to support Ukraine with advanced drone capabilities, aiming to enhance situational awareness, target enemy positions, and bolster maritime capabilities in the Black Sea. There was a meeting of US-led Ukraine Defense Contract Group, and Britain announced its leading international capability coalition with Latvia to strengthen Ukraine's drone capabilities. So quite a significant escalation in support for the Ukraine with this drone contract. And the provision of advanced drone technology is basically being done to show their British commitment to stand by Ukraine and hopefully counter the Russian advances in their eyes. Next, we're looking at French defense companies have started to initiate production in the Ukraine, or have plans to. Not really sure how they can guarantee production or the safety of the employees, but it seems that from this and from other companies' statements that they're going to create or move production to the Ukraine. It seems that they're at least willing to have others take the risk to ascertain whether it's feasible. Defense Minister Sébastien Lecornu reveals that the 3 French defense companies will establish partnerships with Ukrainian counterparts, focusing again on drones, ground force equipment, spare parts production, and potentially ammunition in the future. The goal is to commence production in the Ukraine by this summer. Among the companies likely to participate is the Franco-German Defense Consortium, KNDS, which is comprised of French arms manufacturer Nexter and German engineering company Krauss-Maffei Wegmann. And the latest developments from the Middle East, the Hamas delegation departed Cairo without reaching a ceasefire agreement with Israel, despite global hopes for a resolution. So there was a lot of hopes pinned on this meeting that something was going to come out for it, but it looks like nothing has. Hamas officials stated that they'll continue talks until an agreement with Israel is reached. They just want a halt to aggression. They want to help displaced persons and provide relief to the people. Sami Abu Zuri accused Israel of obstructing ceasefire negotiations mediated by Qatar and Egypt, citing Israel's rejection of Hamas's demands, including ending the offensive, withdrawing forces, and ensuring aid entry and displaced return. Israel demanded a list of hostages held by Hamas, linking their release to the ceasefire deal. Hamas insists on a ceasefire before releasing hostages, citing their scattered locations amidst the conflict. These negotiations held significant implications for the region's stability and humanitarian situation. A ceasefire agreement would have alleviated suffering and provided much-needed relief to affected populations, underscoring the urgency for both parties to find a diplomatic resolution to the conflict. And there's now talks of setting up a temporary port or some sort of base, which would be used to deliver aid by sea, but it could be a case of too little too late. And there could also be some hidden agenda with that creation of that temporary port or base. So in any regards, as preppers, we must look on this situation and what's happened in Gaza and as an indication and a warning of what could happen in our countries during war. It's possible we could face in the future forced relocation, bombing of areas in crowded and diseased situations, and scarcity of all kinds of supplies, food, water, and hygiene issues. So just, think about those types of situations that the Gazans have faced and basically put yourself in their shoes and what would you do and what supplies do you think you need, and, get them in now. This month is Check Your Preps month. So as well as checking your preps, consider situations and scenarios that you might face in your area and plan to weather them as best you can, and think about what you need, whether that's supplies, knowledge, or gear. So that wraps up our analysis of these current events. Stay tuned for more updates and upcoming videos. Until next time, be safe, be prepared, and don't forget to check your preps.